Yeah, today we discuss the topic how jealousy can help me grow. Jealousy is listed as one of the vices that we need to overcome. However, this jealousy is like that underlying thoughts or feelings um, that just runs our life, and we may not even recognize it, and we may be bypassing it, putting up like a fake um, image or fake identity. So I'll give you example of two sisters, who have two children, and one of the sister had it where the children didn't go to like very good schools. They were good, intelligent enough, but not really hardworking and all of that. They ended up, both of them ended up at very good companies making tons of money, whereas the other sister does not have, or her children were not good human beings, but not as academically accomplished. They struggled, they still struggle, and did not make as much money. So there is, though one of the sisters whose children are not very financially settled, understands head level, knowledge wise, yes, I don't need to be jealous. Each of us have our own destiny. Each of us work our own ways, and money is not the ultimate measure of success. All of that is there at knowledge level. But when it comes to day to day interactions, when the other sister whose children are accomplished, they get a promotion or they post a video or a photograph of their vacation or the new home they brought or whatever, there is this discomfort in the younger sister. And that doesn't end, right? I mean, they are both in a family group and exchanges do happen. And every time there is a success posted by the niece and nephews, this younger sister goes through a feeling of jealousy, a feeling that her did not do very well. Somewhere she has to succeed, all of those things. And that's when she came to me. We were discussing about what might be this cause, what may be happening. Are you jealous? I mean, outright, we would not want to accept it. But exploring that jealousy a little bit deeper, what does it reveal? Just sitting with that jealousy, what am I feeling right now? you know, Somewhere we recognize that her ego was attached to that jealousy. Somewhere I did so much, my children struggled so much, I put them in best schools, I spent so much on their education, but they ended up in a job that doesn't pay them as much. Both children are very happy with their jobs, they're making decent money, but it's the mother who is feeling this, her ego kind of shattered. She held her ego. Somewhere she is attaching meaning to the money made, and she's unable to let go. I mean, that's again very deep rooted. When we went little deeper down, of course, both of them grew up in a very um, manageable, well-to-do in the sense they were hand-to-mouth with respect to additional resources, but food-wise, comfort-wise, they were both okay. Somehow, older sister was happy, younger was not so happy, and that is carrying her. And now, because her ego is so fragile, she is distancing people. She has this. She talks too much. She talks too little. I want only people who resonate with my thoughts. Somewhere she thinks she is at a higher level of ideas, and she doesn't like gossips and things like that. But so she's distancing people. Somewhere she's keeping herself away. Fear of rejection is there a little bit. And when somebody does better than me, the fear of rejection comes up, the alienation comes up, and then the only way I know to deal with that situation is to become jealous, or at least not outwardly. That's what this younger sister was doing. It was somewhere uncovering her hidden desires. Her desire was that she should do very well. She did very well in her life. Then her children also should continue. They should be the top in the entire family. Nobody can surpass. It's top only in the money, though. I mean, they are top in respect to respecting discipline, culture, all that they're good at. But that doesn't matter, because we measure, the society right now measures my success based on the material possessions that I have. And somewhere she is unable to accept that. This holistic success is what she's unable to see. And I think most of us are in the same situation, where how happy I am, how satisfied I am, my work hours, my relationship with people, the kind of connections I have at work, the networking, we don't consider all of that: mental health, physical health, intellectual health, spiritual health. All of that becomes important, but it's not to be. So it's good, jealousy when it comes up, it is good, provided we stop a little and go a little deeper. Somewhere this element of discomfort, which in this particular case I'm labeling it as jealousy, it is uncovering the desires, hidden desires, and somewhere it is welcoming me to look deeper. Where am I stuck? I mean, am I truly jealous of my niece and nephew? When I ask her this question, are you truly jealous? She says, no. It's good. The whole family is moving um, materialistically upward. She's able to, the niece and nephews are able to provide for their cousins and things like that. So she's not really jealous, but it appears as that. Then what is it? That is self knowledge. Go a little deeper, go a little. That's when we went into a little deeper levels. It was more like she felt she had this fear of rejection, so she felt lonely, though she was raised amongst like large amount of people. She had people surrounding her growing up, visitors and things like that. And somewhere when I'm exploring this self knowledge, it also requires me to be honest. It's so difficult, even before a counselor. We try to paint this picture that I'm doing everything sort of right. Somewhere the problem is with other person. That's how it typically is. I go to a counselor seeking help for my spouse, for my son, for my mother, for my boss, not for myself. But rarely it is with others, it is more with me. I need to become honest. So whenever this jealousy creeps up, we need to look up at my own feeling. Especially children don't know it to label as jealous. They say, I don't like that he has a better toy than I have. So I want a bigger toy, I want a better phone, I want all the subscriptions. Especially during the adolescent year, we have this. I have all the subscriptions my friends have. They have a MacBook, I need a MacBook. I mean, that's comparison. Why do I want more than something more than them? You know, and then I have 10 friends, and every friend has something better than somebody else. Then am I going to beat everybody? Is that what it is? And during that time, am I happy that I have five things better than five of my friends, but the sixth friend has something more fantastic? So, inviting children to have that honest discussions. This is our family budget, this is our requirements. This is, some of these will just serve our requirements, that's good enough. But then inviting those honest discussions, even with sharing my own dishonesty. I did not admit that for many, many years. This sister who I'm talking with, she is probably in her mid to late 40s. It was so difficult. I mean, she's been reeling in that fear of rejection, loneliness, and some sort of jealousy for good 30, 35 years. So, somewhere we need to begin transforming these comparisons that we have into an inspiration. You know, how come this niece of mine, though she didn't go to a great school, she ended up in a great job and she's making lots of money? This is something we worked together, and I invited my client to deliberate on. And what came up was that she's so happy-go-lucky. Her niece. So she said this. My niece is happy-go-lucky. She doesn't really care about her position or about the money she's making. She doesn't show off. She's just very simple, and it's an inspiration. And now go back. Are your children like her? Yeah, my children also don't show off. My children also don't boast. Then where is that comparison leading me to be jealous? So again, it goes back. It was not the children at all. It was her, because of her belief. And now she had to use this comparison that she had with herself. It's not even with her sister, with herself. Somewhere I'm not as good as somebody. So I need to push away people. I need to feel better than them. That's how she started pushing people away and started feeling lonely right from the childhood. As a child, we don't have much option. But as an adult, when we become aware, because every of this discomfort, be it jealousy, anger, frustration, irritation, whatever you name it, it does bring with it a wealth of knowledge. And I need to begin paying a little attention to it, be a little transparent to it, a little open in exploring, and then finally, it's like gratitude. We do this in journaling practices. It's just not gratitude to what I have, it's also gratitude to all the problems that life is bringing to me. Gratitude to all the comparisons that I have learned to survive by, gratitude. So when I'm saying thank you, jealousy, you came up, you brought this up, it made me talk to someone, it opened up some things, and now I'm able to appreciate my niece and nephew. I'm also able to appreciate my own children, and the problem is me with my childhood and not at all with anything else. And then it's beautiful because I begin admiring my niece, my nephew, my children, myself. And that's the beauty of going a little deeper into any of these discomforts, which will eventually lead me to self development, self reflection, and it will prepare me to be more peaceful. And that is when I become a beautiful parent to my children. Good luck.